Hey guys, welcome to Bipolar Boxing. Saturday night we got Danny Dubois versus Anthony Joshua for Dubois' IBF title. It is on the line. He got upgraded to champion after they stripped Usyk, and it is Dubois' title. They're not fighting for a vacant title here, but it's going to be in front of 100,000 people at Wembley. The pay-per-view is only $19.99 for people out there that actually buy pay-per-views. I haven't bought a pay-per-view since probably Mike Tyson, Lou Savarese. I might have bought when I was a kid, but I mean, let's get it, guys. We got two legit top five heavyweights with knockout power, and both with, you could say, like, questionable chins because they've both been knocked out before, and especially in Dubois' case, he's actually quit. You could say twice, but he definitely quit in the Joyce fight. It was because of his broken orbital bone, and I actually give that guy a lot of credit for quitting there. I think it's like Teddy Atlas always says, like, it's harder to quit than it is to keep going. And especially at a time like that when you're 22, dude, he was only 22 years old during that fight. Joe Joyce was a grown man. Joe Joyce was in his 30s during that fight. So, like, I don't take too much away from that loss. He did what he had to do. He was also looking halfway decent in that fight. It's just, we found out Joe Joyce ain't that good. And you probably shouldn't be getting hit like that and put in a position to quit against a guy like Joe Joyce. But he was only 22, so I don't take much away from that loss. His only other loss is to Alexander Usyk. I don't take anything away from that because everybody else in the world would have lost to Usyk that night too, because Usyk is the best heavyweight in the world. Then he had that one fight where he got knocked down, I think, 3 times against some guy like Kevin Lorena or something like that, I think it was. But he got knocked down 3 times in that fight. He came back and won. I remember shitting my pants because I had Dubois minus like 1,500 in that fight. But he came back and won that fight. And he's just looked so good in his last 2 fights. Yeah, one of them was against Big Baby Miller, who he's just a walking punching bag. He puts on immense pressure, so you got to be in great physical condition when you fight a guy like that, because you're going to be fighting off the back foot the whole night, which Dubois pretty much was. But man, he hit Miller with some fucking shots, and Miller just kept taking them and taking them and taking them, and I'm pretty sure Joshua just won, or Dubois won by decision in that fight. But he is a big puncher. The problem for me with Dubois is the point I'm trying to make with all those 3 fights I brought up, the guy gets hit a lot. And when he gets hit, he gets knocked down. If you got knocked down by whoever that guy's name that I couldn't remember, like, what's going to happen when Joshua hits you? Because Joshua is going to land those punches. If that guy can land on you, Joshua can land on you. And Joshua definitely hits harder than that guy. So, I mean, sometimes it's just that simple. That's really all I'm looking at is all Dubois' losses, even some of his wins. His win against Herkovich, he looked phenomenal. He still got cracked early in that fight, and that fight was kind of a slugfest for 2 or 3 rounds. Even though Dubois was getting the better of him, he got cracked with a lot of shots. That once again, if Joshua hits you with that, like, you're going down. Now, we don't know if Joshua could take the shots that Hergovich was taking. I'm just assuming that he can. So, Joshua, on the other hand, like, Joshua's looked amazing his last couple for performances too. And, I mean, the knockout against Ngannou was great, but the fight against Otto Wallin, a lot of people are saying, like, that's his best win. I still think it was his rematch against Andrew Ruiz. Winning a fight like that, 12 rounds to none, is extremely impressive for me. I'm not much for knockouts. I think it's more impressive to beat a guy 12 rounds to 0 than it is to knock somebody out. So, but my point is, Joshua can do a little bit of everything. Joshua can outbox a guy like Andy Ruiz over 12 rounds, and Andy Ruiz won't even win a fucking round. Joshua's got that, and he's also got that power. His knockout, I know it's Francis Ngannou, but the point is, if he lands, you're done. And Dubois just gets hit too much for me. It's just that simple with this fight. This isn't the Joshua that fought Dillian White. If it was, I think this would be a 50-50 fight, and I would just say, man, whoever's chin can't hold up to the other one's punches, like, that's the guy that's going to lose. in this fight, I just think Joshua's so much more of a cerebral fighter now. He's not a brawler. He's not looking for knockouts anymore. He's letting knockouts come to him. And that's what I think is going to happen in this fight. I think Joshua's going to play it very, very safe, at least the first like 3 or 4 rounds. Maybe not much happens in those rounds, but Joshua will not only be downloading information himself, he's got Ben Davidson and Lee Wiley in his corner. Like those guys, there's not too many people in boxing that are smarter than Lee Wiley. And Ben Davidson, like that chemistry that they got going on, I mean, Ben Davidson is going to be showing him exactly what to do through every round. So the first 3 rounds is just going to be download information. Ben Davidson's going to be sitting there watching the whole time, and then he's going to tell him what to do and what's going to work. And I think it's going to work on Danny Dubois. So whenever they tell him, okay, now open up and go for this, I think that's when Joshua's going to get his knockout. And I think he does it in probably like, I'm going to say around like 7 or 8. I'm going to say a 7th round KO for Anthony Joshua. I just don't think Dubois, he just gets hit too much. I can't stop saying enough. The guy gets hit too much, and you get hit too much, you're going in against a big puncher who can not only punch, but can box. So, like, even if you rock Joshua, now Joshua, because he's not a knockout puncher, has the ability, if he gets up, which I think he will if he gets knocked down, I think he can get up and play it safe for God knows how many rounds, but like whatever, and I think he could still win a wide decision even if he gets knocked down, because he has that tool in his tool bag that he can just be boring and outbox you like he did to Franklin or something like that. And I don't think Dubois knows anything else but to kind of just go out there and swing and take punches to give punches. I think Joshua knows when not to do that. I think Dubois doesn't have another option. So, and it's not a knock on Dubois because, dude, Dubois is only 26 years old. Like, I still think, I was on a podcast recently and I just said, like, the future of the heavyweight division is probably Daniel Dubois. Like, I want to say it's Moises Atuma. Like, if I had to pick a real young guy, I would pick Atuma. Richard Torres, he's got a fight coming up tonight, I think. I'm watching the card right now. But he's fighting Joey Dowajeko. That should be an awesome fight. But Danny Dubois is better than both those guys right now. I wouldn't pick Atuma to beat Danny Dubois right now. And when those guys are growing up and getting into when they're like 22, 23 years old for Atuma, Danny Dubois is going to be like 30 years old, having fought Anthony Joshua, beat Hrgovic, fought Joe Joyce, took losses, took knockouts. All that experience and him only getting better, and he will get better from these losses. The guy took a tough road. He's just not better than Anthony Joshua, I just don't think. So I'm not going to pick him to win here. Just give me Anthony Joshua by knockout. I'm not trying to overthink this thing. And, I mean, I think the only people that are picking Danny Dubois got to be those people that just don't like Anthony Joshua, or they're just kind of caught up in the hype of how he looked against Hrgovic. But like I said, when I was watching that Hrgovic fight, I was like, Jesus Christ, Dubois is looking good, but he gets hit a lot. That guy gets hit a lot. And, I mean, you do that against a power puncher. Like, I'm not so sure. I think Danny Dubois is a better boxer than Deontay Wilder. I think Deontay Wilder would beat Danny Dubois just because, like I said, Danny Dubois gets hit too much. So against power punchers, I don't like Dubois. Even though I think he's a legit top 5 heavyweight, I don't see him beating Anthony Joshua. I'm going to say, 8th round KO, but I also think if this is a decision, it's going to be like 10 rounds to 2, 11 to 1, something like that. So let me know who you guys think's going to win. Also, let me know who you think. It's got to be Joshua versus the winner of Fury Usyk. I think that'll happen either way. Even if Usyk wins the rematch, I think we get Joshua Usyk 3. Just because there's nothing else out there. And he has the other belt. I would hope to God that Usyk, if he beats Fury in the rematch, just fucking walk away and retire so we can get Fury versus Joshua. That'd be great. Let me know if you guys want to see that. And if you guys still think, like I said, I think Danny Dubois is the future of the heavyweight division. Let me know if you agree with that, or who else do you see, let's say 5 years from now, who do you think the top three heavyweights are going to be? Because if I had to rank them, I would pick probably Torres at 3, Atuma at 2, and Dubois at 1. I think that's what I would pick. It might be a bold statement, but let me know what you guys think. Just enjoy the fight. Enjoy the card tomorrow night. It's going to be awesome. Have a good night.